What an amazing wee graveyard. I've driven past it a lot, seen the church, but when you drive past you see the modern bit that I'll show you in a second, very briefly. So I didn't think there was anything very old here, but there absolutely is. There is this with its, that looks more Egyptian than a lot of the ones that we've seen. That is a face and wings, and on the back, oh right, it's not very modern. 1715 with a heart. That's the first heart we've seen here. Oh, interestingly, this one is 1715, IMIS, and just sort of diagonally behind them is somebody else from 1715 with a skull and the hourglass, be crossbones down there, and the tools of the farmer's trade, the digging implements there. Has it got anything on the other side? Well, yes and no. D, C, and then there's an S there, and that bit is under all that lichen. Let's see if we can, oh yeah, so it's D, C and C, S. Excellent, I'm loving this wee place. And over here is another old one with a lot more going on, a lot more fussy. Face, wings, that's flower, that is, yeah, that's just like tulips. And that's like, I've no idea, daisies. And digging implements and IC. Let's see on the back of the IC what we can see. CC. There is, oh wow. It says 1724 there, but the oh wow was for these two chaps. And this is the one that I saw from over there, and that is okay. What letter is that then? That's an I, and that is a backwards B from, and this is the bit that got me going squeak earlier, 1687. So it's not even as old as our 16 whatever it is friend over there. On the bottom there is, oh, that's it's a shield. It's obviously like the heraldic shield of the family. That is an axe. Looking at it like this, that is a big oldie worldy axe. Maybe he was an executioner. Ooh, although to be fair, probably not. And this is the other side of the executioner's stone. Is we should use that for a clickbait title. It's got wings and a skull and an hourglass and all that good stuff. This is yeah, a nice wee field of gravestones. I'm kind of neglecting all of the bigger ones in favour of all these really cool old ones. So let's go and have a look over here. Right, in affectionate remembrance of David Blythe of Leckybank. Ah, Leckybank must be a place, because next there is William Blythe of Leckybank. So this is born 1815, died 1877, and his wife. And I saw a thing at the bottom that looks like it's been erased. You know, that's definitely not just to fill a gap. Because there's her brother David Blythe, who's a bank agent in St Andrews, and then her brother James Blythe, killed on active service in France in 1916. So this is, it's not a war grave obviously, but it is somebody who died in the First World War. And yeah, so this is the Blythe family corner. Let's look at this really old stone next to it. Is this a Blythe as well? Yes, it is. Spouse to David Blythe, tenant in Nether Pitlochry, who died in 1822. So that goes from 1822 there up to that's actually 1996. So these are quite recent, because this one had 1974 on it. So yeah, that's a lot of family history in those three stones. I've just had some sweet potato and leek soup at a place called Pillars of Hercules, and I keep burping it up, so I have to keep redoing these takes. It was very nice, but it is repeating on me. Sorry, that's information you didn't probably need. 1738, but look at this text here. This, with the T and the H in one, burial place that should be, but it says B-U-R-E-L-L, so it's Burial Place, B, Longs, and the N is backwards, to Francis, and the N is again backwards, Todd in Bankwell. So yeah, somebody has got all their N's backwards, and yeah, that is really cool. Anything on the other side, I'm guessing there'll be the usual. Yeah, there's F, T and IS, Memento Mori, and then that's the hourglass there. The skull is down the bottom, so this one is sinking, but that's another very impressive stone, but not as impressive as what is behind us. So this is like one of the 1700s Memento Mori stones, but on a grand scale. Got lots of text on it that is gone. I mean, it's not just, that's not legible at all. The sandstone has all just really odd words. There's a letter N there, and there's bits and pieces. Obviously the family crest in the middle and some stars, but down the bottom is the coolest bit, because there's a really nice little skull with these crossbones, And there is some agricultural stuff again, a spade and a fork. And whatever that might be a plough actually. We know what that is, that could be a plough. And then on this side, we got the crossbones. Let's go down to this one next to it. That again, I keep skipping past things, so I keep seeing things that look really cool and then go sort of racing to look at them. This is some nice skulls and a rather grumpy looking child at the top there. And a broken arrow. Now that's, oh no, it's not a broken arrow, it's got an arrow going that way and something else going that way through that bone. I don't know what that could be, I don't know what that is. That's an arrow, definitely, times arrow possibly. That I have no idea. Any dates on this? Possibly, but being marble, it's pretty much gone. Oh, we did see a gentleman called Ireland up at the far end. This is in memory of Robert Ireland of Banatty, who died in 1763, age 71. And for the 1700s, this is a really, really big, impressive stone, because usually they're like that. But this obviously built to last, and it goes from 1763 there, 1759, 1753, up to, latest one, 1849. I actually came across to look at that because that looks quite old. That's the top of a vaulted tombstone. But then next to it we've got some more military stuff going on. This is in memory of Patrick George Skene, Esquire. Don't forget the Esquire of Halyards, who died in 1861, and a son, William, who died in 1911, and his grandson, who was a colonel. Colonel Philip George Moncrief Skene, the Black Watch of Halyards and Pitlure. Born in 1880, died in 1944, December 1944. Oh, and down the very bottom there is Major R.W.D. Skene, obviously a military family. Born 1912, died 1981. And there's W.B. Skene's wife Lorna is on that little bit over there. And over there we've got Moncrief Patrick George Skene, Esquire. Again, don't forget the Esquire, who died in 1866, and various other Skenes and associated hangers on. Another big family plot right in the corner with Ditat Virtus at the top. That'll be their motto. Obviously it's Latin. It's got a knight's helmet and a sheaf of corn above the knight's helmet up there, and then corn, 3 things of corn on their badge. So yeah, that'll be the Cheap family badge. This is Harriet Peach Lumsden, wife of George Clark Cheap, and then George Clark Cheap, and then another George Clark Cheap, and Maud Mary Cheap, and Catherine Beatrice. Yeah, there's lots and lots of bodies in here. That is, ironically, that does not look like it was cheap. Over the other side of that little path is the bit that you see from the road, and that is all, as you can see, very modern. So actually I've just noticed there is also over there, this is old, that is possibly less old, and that over there is quite new. This is James Flockart and Christian Dick in memory of Margaret, their daughter, who died in 1864, and also of their other children who also get a mention, Nancy, William, Jeanie and Agnes, who died young. There's a little birdie that's seen better days. That's one's from 1898, and that is David Arnott, who is looks like he's trying to escape. That must have fallen over on the grass and it's just been picked up, which is why there's a bald bit of grass there, not because somebody's trying to dig their way out. David John Campbell Ireland, 2nd Battalion of Argyll and Sutherland Highlanders, killed in action at the Battle of the Somme. Now the Somme was, this is not a history channel, but the Somme was basically an unmitigated disaster in many ways, but also a success in others that aren't quite so well known. And if you're interested, it's basically that the attack on the Somme took some of the pressure off the French city of Verdun that the Germans were battering the absolute heck out of, and if Verdun had fallen, France would have fallen. So the Somme saved Verdun basically at the cost of hundreds of thousands of lives on both sides. But it was it got a lot of bad press because of the number of casualties, but at the same time it possibly was the point at which the First World War was going to be won. I'm going to go back through the middle, but alright, what is going on here? This I have honestly no idea. This is the first time I've walked over to this bit. It's a war memorial, I think, and it's got Private James Robertson from died in France in 1917 from the Argyll and Sutherland Highlanders. Let's pick a few. Flight Lieutenant J.R. Middleton of the Royal Flying Corps, died of wounds 1917. Private George Heggie of the 47th Canadians, up for our Canadian friends, died in France 1916. Sergeant John Harrower of the Canadian Highlanders. That was quite an interesting story. The Canadian regiments were often named after Scottish regiments. So you got the Black Watch of Canada and the Highlanders of Canada, and they wore the same tartan. It was I read a big book on that once. It was very heavy going, but also very interesting. These are all really interesting. That's Captain Bruce of the Army Service Corps, and that is a Victoria Cross. So they've got Victoria Crosses hanging from their little memorial here. Anybody else of interest? Yep, for our I've got to say colonials just to insult the Canadians. All you colonials. There's some New Zealanders. Sergeant Dryborough of New Zealand, and there's that guy, Flight Lieutenant Flockhart Tom MC Military Cross, Cavalry Machine Gun Corps, who died in Palestine in 1918. So yeah, the war was not just Europe, it was worldwide, obviously. But you probably knew that already. I'll telling you what you already know. Right, let's head back towards the middle of the graveyard and then we'll head out. But this has been really cool. If you are passing, it's another one that's definitely well worth a visit. And that birdie that I saw, again, you walk past, forget to look over your shoulder. Iain, stop forgetting to look over your shoulder, because he has got the birdie on the top, and obviously at some point he's had birdies elsewhere, because the birdies elsewhere are now sitting down there. Hello birdies. Again, amazingly, they've not been nicked for someone's garden. So we're heading back across the way basically that we've just come, because there's a couple of stones here that look like they're quite interesting. There's another one where the birdie has fallen off but is still there, and this is quite a nice big lump of granite. Unfortunately, it's fallen off its perch in memory of John Thompson, manufacturer, who died in 1914, aged 82, and his daughter, who died in her 14th year. And over here, an affectionate remembrance of William Thompson, a manufacturer, who died in 1868. Right, but what we're here to see is this one, because this is, as you can see, the grandest stone in the place, apart from the ones against that wall, obvs. But let's see what this is. What it mostly is quite eroded, and it's got lichen growing on it. But let's go to a side, because I know this is easier to read because the way I came towards it in the first place. Here also lies interred the remains of Emily Cheap, daughter of George Cheap, Esquire. They could just manage to fit in the Esquire, who died in 1810, aged 10. And Elizabeth interred on the 9th of July 1813, aged 1 year and 4 months. Now, why isn't that when she died? That's when she was buried, obviously. 9th of July 1813, Helen, 6th of March 1816, and James Cheap. And then it goes away under the sort of erosion and the lichen. That's a really, really cool stone. That's, again, people with a wee bit of money to spend. Yeah, it's on the back, it's got Lilius Guthrie. Lilius, a name you don't see very often, who departed this life in 1845. In faith and belief of our blessed Saviour Jesus Christ. She lived with her affectionate husband George Cheap. And at the bottom is the above George Cheap, beloved as a husband and parent, esteemed and respected by all his friends and neighbours, and sincerely mourned by all who knew him. Blessed are the dead which die in the Lord, their works do follow them. From everybody's favourite piece of 1st century apocalyptic literature, the Book of Revelations. So I keep saying I'm leaving and then I keep not leaving. You'll notice this is definitely a trend. This is, what's this one? 1793. Again, the one is a J, aged 32 years. And also William Brown, his brother, who died in look at that, Jan TH. So it's January but it's Janth 27, 1801, aged 35 years. Right, okay, we're going to go now, and because I said I was leaving, and I'm obviously not going to, into the bit on the other side of that wall, which looks like not quite as old, but still quite old. And on the way, I've got to stop doing this. I'm so badly organised. I bet there's not another graveyard YouTube channel as badly organised as this, and I bet they can all say channel and not channel as well. 1802, and again with the fork and the spade. So that's the bit we're just exploring. That is the original, or obviously access road to the church, and this is a new bit of graveyard down here. How much newer or how new we will find out, if we can find anything with a date on it. Yeah, 1924, 1931. So that's all like older there, and then slightly newer here. So let's have a wee wander around here. particularly heading over this way because I can see a really cool angel statue, and I do like a really cool angel statue under the monkey puzzle tree. You do not want to be walking into that, Ian, while you're talking to yourself on your week. Yes, it's it's called a monkey puzzle tree. It's probably got a proper name. It's called a monkey puzzle tree because you'd have to be a very clever monkey to figure out how to actually... Anyway, this is not a botany channel. Shut up and keep walking. This bit is quite nice as well. Very peaceful. I don't know what's on the other side of that little wall. I'm guessing that's just into the farmer's fields. But this is where we are here to see. This is John Eric Thompson, a manufacturer, son of A.N. Thompson from 1950. And just have a wee look at her, because some of this architecture, some of these statues are works of art in their own right. She's unfortunately lost her hand, but that's what she's looking at actually. She's looking down going, I'm sure I had a hand there earlier, I don't know where it's gone. And some broken fingers as well. So she's had a bit of a hard life, but she's still very, very cool. Another First World War era tombstone in this newer part of the cemetery, comparatively newer, in memory of William David Reid, second son of Robert and Janet Reid, who died at sea off Dover on hospital ship Anglia, 17th November 1915, aged 20, and of their eldest son James, who was killed in France 1918, aged 26, and he's interred at Neuville. That's probably not how you pronounce it, but you get the idea. So yeah, that family lost two of their sons in the First World War.